How can you make an impression on the reader? How do you write a story that has a lasting impact on a person's mind and thought process? Great authors from various eras all say the same thing. It doesn't matter what you write about as long as it touches the reader's hearts. Finding the most frequently banned book of all time is a difficult but not impossible task, because no reliable historical data on the frequency of book banning exists. This report examines the list of the most frequently banned books over the last 3 decades. Welcome back, guys. Hope you're doing well. Today we will discuss the top 5 most banned books of all time. Before we start, make sure you hit the subscribe button with notifications turned on to get notified when we update videos like this one. Let's get into the countdown. Number 5. Lord of the Flies by William Golding. This book was banned in the United States by the government, schools, and libraries for a variety of reasons. But mostly because it demonstrated that in extreme circumstances, every peaceful human being is willing to kill his or her neighbor to survive. Though our main characters are just kids who were unlucky enough to be stranded on a tropical island following a plane crash, this only adds to the violence and struggle to obtain an order that they're facing. As a result, terrible things happen: murders, violence, and manhunting. The major issues raised in this book are even more relevant today, in an age of extreme violence, murders, and abuse, when children are out of control and human nature is revealing itself. Number 4. Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. We think this book is almost appropriate for children, so it's strange to think it's been banned because of the objectionable language and racist terms in canon. Mark Twain's The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Huckleberry Huck Finn, a friend of Tom Sawyer from The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, tells the story. Finn and Sawyer lived in a small town near the Mississippi River, where they observed the locals' entrenched attitudes and racism. Adventures of Huckleberry Finn is satirical in tone, vividly describing people and places, but more importantly, relationships in a society in which one person is much more important than the other. It's important to read books like this nowadays, just to remember that we have a long way to go before everyone can be equal. Number 3. A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. It's now considered classic, but it wasn't always that way. The book tells us about the horrors of the World War I, as well as love, duty, and fear. The protagonist, American Frederick Henry, is an ambulance driver in Italy while serving as a lieutenant or tenant. Frederick falls in love with Catherine Barclay, and the two of them fight the horrors of war in order to save their love. This book was previously labeled as a sex novel and was strictly prohibited in schools and libraries. Number 2. A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. This now famous and popular book was strictly prohibited in the mid to late 1980s due to the Anthony Burgess's A Clockwork Orange. The language that's objectionable. This is a dystopian novel that depicts an extremely violent future world led by the protagonist Alex, a teenager who depicts his horrifying experiences of living a hard life. A novel was removed from several schools and libraries, and society hardly judged it. Number 1. The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. Calden Holfield's story may not appear to be vulgar, occult, or full of violence and sexuality in 2016. However, it was the most banned book in the US high schools in the 1970s and 1980s. Mr. Salinger takes on a journey with an unfortunate student who has recently been expelled. He decides to have some fun in New York while he still has a few days before returning home and interacting with his parents about why he has dropped out yet again. But that isn't the point of the book. While it encourages the rebellion spirit of teenagers, it also provides us with a clever and interesting internal dialogue of the main character and does its best to present us with the struggle of a young generation that's unsure of its future. That's all for today. We hope you liked this video. Let us know in the comments. What do you think about the banning of the books and the impact it has on society's access to information and ideas? See you in the next video. Please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get new updates.